Hey, welcome back, knife nerds and everyday care people. It's your boy, the Big Canucker, and I'm coming at you with a review of a pocket tool or a multi-tool that I've had in my pocket for the last couple of months. And yeah, I just want to say that this was given to me by a subscriber, a wonderful, wonderful fella out of Ontario by the name of Stuart Harvey. I have to say thank you so much for letting me use this. This has been a great experience. I think outside of the box a little bit. I think sometimes we get a little bit stuck inside our own kind of thinking, and multi-tool. You kind of think Leatherman, or perhaps even Swiss Army knife or Victorinox. And I've seen some of the ads out there for the Gerbers and stuff like that. Never gave them much mind, but when going back and forth online here with Stuart, he has had a couple of these for many, many years, and he says they've never let him down. And he said he had an extra one, and he wanted to know if I would give it a try. And I am, I'm pleasantly surprised with this. Now, I guess I'm not sure if you'd want to kind of maybe put this in the budget offering. You're looking at about $40 for this Gerber suspension, and it seems like it's, a nice little tool. One of the things I really, really like about it, first of all, is I like the spring-loaded pliers on it. I'm really, really, I wish every setup, every multi-tool out there had spring-loaded pliers. I just think it's really, really handy, especially, most of the times, yes, we can take our finger, we can put it inside like that if we need to. But when you're hanging off a ladder, trying to fix a light, and you're upside down, and you're at a really goofy-ass angle, having those spring-loaded pliers are fantastic. The other thing, too, as well, that I noticed right off the bat is it's a cool-looking tool. I like the fact that they've got the kind of the cutouts here to, reduce weight. And, it's a great color, and it seems right off the bat, it seems like the fit and finish on it is really, really nice. I never noticed that anything was really loose. The first thing I did is I put it in my hand, and I thought, hey, this has got really, really nice ergonomics. And I thought, hey, this is not too bad. And it looks like you've got kind of a rubberized coating here at the bottom, or rubberized kind of spot here, and that feels really, really good on the hands. Overall, very, very comfortable multi-tool. Of course, even, this is a fairly new tool, and it's got a little bit of stiffness to it, but I think you kind of want that. You don't want anything so floppy. When it gets really, really loose and sloppy, it doesn't seem as precise, and it doesn't seem like you have the faith in the tool as much. This has got a little bit of stiffness to it, enough that it seemed like it was well put together. All right, so let's kind of go over the tool set here. Of course, you've got your needle nose pliers, you've got your wire cutters here, and they seem like they're decent wire cutters. I mean, they do the job. I've noticed that a few times on some of the larger stuff, that you get that little bit of pull at the end if you don't have it completely centered. And but it does cut without squishing too much. You can see that it does squish a little bit, but it does, does do the job when you need it to. And, they are a hard wire cutter, and there we go. So you've got that. Now they've also got here on the bottom, you've got what's called the safety lock. And it seems like it's, I guess, very reminiscent of the access lock or the ball bearing lock. It's just basically a pull slide. And I also like the fact that you've got one-handed opening here with the serrated, as well as the other side with your blades are one-handed open. You don't realize how handy that is. If you pull your multi-tool out of your pocket, you're holding something, and you go to open up the knife blade, because that's what you're going to use the most on these, is you're going to use the pliers and the knife blades. And if you got to open up the knife and cut something, it's awesome to do it quite easily. So here you've got a I'm not going to say what size this is. This is probably, it's sub 2 inch, so maybe 1.8 inch blade on it. And the other thing you're going to have is you're going to have a flat blade, and it seems like it's fairly, all the tools seem like they're fairly thick. They've got some size to them. You're going to have a Phillips. I'm a little disappointed that it is a 2D Phillips though, but I'm sure they're trying to save a little bit of weight. And then of course you've got a wood saw to round it out. Now your wood saw has actually got some really good stiffness to it, and seems like it's thick. It doesn't seem like it's going to bend and snap, that's for sure. But my only knock on this tool and perhaps this saw is the fact that you've got it's small. I mean, you know, the blade, you're going to cut something, it's not too bad, but this wood saw, I ended up going out and trying to saw a few branches and stuff like that, and it did the job. The teeth were really sharp. They seemed like they were designed well. I needed a little bit more, I think, just to make that much more satisfying, I believe. So now on that side, so now on the other side, you've got a nice chisel ground serrated, or nice serrated blade on that side too as well. You've got a can opener here too as well with a bottle opener. The can opener is adequate, but not as sharp as I've noticed the Victorinox or the Leatherman. So I think you'll have a little bit more trouble getting into a can. I think, I'm sure it'll do the job, but I just don't know if it'll cut as smoothly as the Victorinox or the Leatherman. Now you've got another small flat blade, and then of course you've got a set of scissors. Now the scissors, I did use the scissors quite a bit, and they seem to cut really quite nice. There we go. And you know, they seem to cut all right. I did notice though that the return spring on them is quite strong, which is really satisfying, especially when you're cutting a pair of scissors this small. It's nice to have that hard spring return, which I found was quite satisfying. But I did try to cut into some cardboard, and I did notice that these were not as effective, and the handle on it was a little bit too thin. I know that they've got to save some weight, or they got to save, there's only so much room that you could do, but it just seems like it's the end tool, and it seems like you've got a little bit of extra room there to perhaps put a little bit of more of a ledge or something that's a little bit wider there, just to make it a little bit more comfortable, because I did try to cut find some heavier things, and it did hurt the thumb just a little bit. And let's just see if it'll, there, see, you know, they are a good pair of scissors here. They've cut through the wire just as good as the wire cutters, but I did notice that you've got a little bit of, I'm not going to say pain, because I don't want to seem like I'm a big wimp, but a little bit of discomfort, and it's just something I think they could have improved upon that way. Now I want to call it the access lock. The safety lock is really, it allows you to grip it when you've got no hands. A little concerned if you've got gloves on. The one time I did have some gloves, and it was a little bit not as positive, I think, but I just had to concentrate a little bit just to close it up with that. Now the other thing is it comes in they call it a ballistic nylon sheath, and I mean, it does the job. It's okay. I know that this is this price point, they want to kind of save a little bit of money. They'd rather maybe put the money into the tool rather than the case, but I think the case can be important. You know, it did fit on my belt really well. The one thing I had a knock with though is this Velcro wasn't as positive as I think as it could have been. And, you know, a little shaky, but that's all right. It's not making a whole lot of noise. I had to really watch, though, a couple of times. I tried to lock this, and it didn't really close as much as I thought it would. And I found lots of times throughout the day that it was hanging open a little bit. And if you're in a situation where you have the opportunity for this thing to slide out, because it will. I mean, there's not extreme positive lock on this sheath. If you don't have that top latch properly and you're doing some rough and tumble things, I can see if this is not latched, this coming out and being lost. So it's going to lose some marks for the sheath, the Velcro. Now, overall, I think this is, you know, especially for the money, I think this is a handy, tough little tool. My biggest concern is the fact that you've got the saw is so small. That's the big thing for me. Drives me crazy. I wish there was a bigger saw on it, and I kind of wish it was perhaps maybe 20% bigger. I think this would be an absolute home run. Now it's coming in at 10.2 ounces, so it's a little bit of a chunky monkey, but it's not out of the ballpark, and it's not super uncomfortable. I know I've got my surge, and I really know that my surge is on my hip. This one here is similar to the Wave, where it kind of disappears a little bit until I need to grab it. So, you know, at 10.2 ounces, I don't think it is out of the ballpark, but for the size of it, I think they could have done a little bit better on the weight saving, and or I would like to see it perhaps 20% bigger, and especially that saw. That's my big knock. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this probably a 6, just based on the fact that it needs to be a smidge bigger all the way around. That's my biggest thing, and also this nylon sheath with this Velcro, not a huge fan of that. Other than that, I think it's a handy, capable little tool. I can see how people who don't want to spend, $120, $30, $40, $50 on Leatherman will spend, $25 to, say $40 on a Gerber suspension and be more than happy, because it is a capable little tool, especially for the money. And thank you so much, Mr. Harvey, for sending me this. I really, really enjoyed it, and it made me think, and it made me think, and it also got me outside my comfort zone and outside my box. Thank you so much. Now, thanks for stopping by. If you like what you saw, please give me the thumbs up and a subscription. I appreciate it so much. I also want to say, please stay safe out there. There's still a lot of stuff going on. We're not out of the woods yet. And listen to the experts. All right. Now, please keep your stick on the ice, the shiny side up. This is the Big Canucker saying adios.